Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. And we're zooming in and focusing in on a very common state that results as an experience of being in a relationship with a malignant covert narcissist or a psychopath. And that really is the state of despondency, feeling dejected, lost, hopeless. I'm feeling very dejected, forlorn, and this is a very common state, which is almost deeper than depression. And if we look at the word of despondency, it means to feel or show extreme discouragement, dejection, or depression. Despondent about your health, so not really caring, not really having sort of any sort of feeling of hope or optimism. To be despondent means to be in low of spirits for hope or courage. And hope, as we know, it needs to be there. It needs to have that tinge of positive to really get us moving in the right direction. And so oftentimes people who have been in a relationship for some period of time with a malignant narcissist, a covert narcissist, or a psychopath are going to experience this state as an aftermath effect. To be disheartened, discouraged, dispirited, downhearted, trodden, crestfallen, kind of feeling like your chest is falling to the earth. And this can be a state of really being despondent, in other words, really being beaten down. And it can be very scary and terrorizing, especially for people who have had a crippling experience of this, and then, CPSD or PTSD, where you feel really, downtrodden, like your heart is pointed to the ground, and you can't get up, basically. And if we look at the root word of despondency, its first origin was in the middle 1600s. It was first recorded in the mid 1600s, around 1670, from the Latin despondere, to give up, to lose heart, to resign, to promise in marriage, and literally to give up one's soul. And so if we look at this, and it's really from the sense of a promise to give something away. D meaning away, and spondere, to promise. So it's really kind of a condition more than despair. So as you can see, that can be a very low energetic state. In other words, there's not a lot of momentum for change and positive hope from this situation. And as we get into this topic, as a little bit, I want to give a huge shout out to those of you who have recently donated to the channel. Particularly, we have a gorgeous viewer who recently made a donation over the weekend, and much love to you. Love you. Thank you so much for your support and your continued input and insights in relaying your experience here in the community. Love you very much. Thank you for your correspondence, and I really appreciate that. It's an honor and privilege to be a resource of support, knowledge, and then tools that you can apply to moving forward. That is the sole goal. So thank you so much. If you all ever want to donate, there is a PayPal donate now button on the channel here, and you can send forth. It's helping to keep me inspired and bring forth the content, and know that I'm at least making a difference in your life, and most importantly, that you're getting this validation here, and also the tools to move forward. Particularly the tools from despondency, to give up hope, to give up courage. Hope and courage are really two very important emotions that you need to experience in the state of healing. And if we look at this after effect, in other words, the flip side of the state of being despondent, not really having a reaction, caring one way, especially caring about yourself and caring about, your courage and your vision for your life moving forward. Why is this a state? How did we get here? why is this experience to the degree and the state that it does? Why does somebody feel forlorn? Why do they feel chestfallen? Why do they feel this learned state, this promulgated state that is so very down and low energy? It is because of the counteraction to a state of being around someone who is treating you with this sort of vibration to begin with. So in other words, to not acknowledge you, to not validate you, to not listen to you, to not hear you out, to be able to reflect back to you empathetically, using the mirror neurons of empathy, which are part of your natural neurohormone of mirroring. You have neurons within your body and mind and your spirit and your emotional body, which reflect back to you feelings and create an experience, which then gives you a feeling of self-definition, and then either moving forward and, consummating, the promise, as in we see, spondary, to promise, as you make a promise, a commitment, it's oftentimes it's a spoken or an unspoken. You have made a promise or commitment to this individual in some way in your life. I promise to love you. I promise to take care of you. I promise to be committed to you for your life long. I will always be here for you. I'll be here for you in sickness and health. I will be here for the good times and the bad times. I'll be here on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'll be here for your dinner, your breaks. You had made a promise somewhere, along the line in, the connection of your relationship. Somewhere you had made like the ultimate commitment and promise to them. And to be refused this, to be invalidated at this level, to have that, basically feeling of giving up your soul. I mean, it does not get any deeper than that. Your soul, which is the most sensitive, true part of yourself, which then, is kind of like what you are naturally attuned to. It is the natural curiosity. It's the natural sensitivity. It's the natural caring. It's like the natural fire. It's like the Olympic flame. That is your soul. It has an energy. It has a fire. It has a spark. The sun that feeds, and is, keeping life going on the planet. You are an individual piece of that, and your consciousness, your awareness is connected to that which is. Dr. David Hawkins, Freud, Jung, all the different tenets of psychology and philosophy and religion, realize that you are kind of a part of the spark, the flint and steel of that. And so kind of that is what's ignited and burns and keeps you going. It cannot really burn out, but when, it is always there. But to be despondent as a result of a relationship with a narcissist or a psychopath who has betrayed you at that level. In other words, it's taking that promise and then saying it is void, null, zero, nada. And it is the negation of that and the nulling of that, which is basically creates this feeling. Excuse me. Bless me. Excuse me. And that is part of the issue with kind of you feel lost, dejected, like you gave yourself away. You gave yourself to this person. And it has not been returned. You gave it away. Where is it? It is lost. I don't know where it is. I don't know where you are. Where did I leave you? Under the sofa, in the garage, in the trunk. Where are you? You kind of feel like you don't know where you are. And then furthermore, you do not have anybody to validate you at that level and say, here you are. you're right here, and give you that, that shake on the shoulder, and like, validate you. And then if people do, you're kind of like, you don't really know where I'm at. You're kind of like, you think you know where I'm at, like you don't know where I'm at. And so oftentimes it is the very unique sort of dejection and despair and hopelessness, which is a very specific feeling as a result of these types of relationships. And particularly that of being invalidated and devalued, as they say, the devalue and the discard. And then, the idealization, is kind of like that promise in the beginning, which you did not realize was a false promise. And that is where your hope was planted. And so if you have planted your hope, not within yourself, right in here, if you've planted it outside, and then somebody yanks that plant, where am I? Where is my, personhood, humanhood, personality? Where is my soul? Where is my, spiritus, my inspiration? If you have put that inside, outside of yourself in another person, and that person was a narcissist or a psychopath, someone who is acting with a mask, a facade, a persona, which they have developed and customized, especially in the state of the psychopath, particularly to manipulate and fool you and deceive you, misleading you, so that you're now, left in the cornfields, without a phone. You are now left on the riverbank, with, kicked out of the boat without a paddle. You are in the middle of, a dark forest without a match, without a flashlight. You are dejected. You have been misled. You have then feeling resourceless or without a resource, tools, or kind of like that reconnect to your personal soul back again. So it is that sort of loss of hope, and it's that sort of disconnect from that part of you which has been dejected, and you're feeling a sense of despondency, giving up your heart. So that's why I feel it is so very important to begin to find that, refine that. That is the whole goal of the channel. It is so important, to follow your heart now, and then resensitize yourself from the beginning. And that is really the whole goal of the tools here that I discuss. And I have really so much to put together in some videos in terms of using the tools, but I'm going to go to that in a different video so we can kind of pick up at that stage. But as you can understand, it is the devaluing and the invalidating of you, kind of the invalidating in the beginning, that you, of taking your promise at promise value, and not having your promise invested or imprinted or in something outside of yourself who was a narcissist, who couldn't and never will be able to validate you at that level, value you at that level, continue to keep the promise, the commitment at that level. It was all a facade, a mask to get what they needed for that period of time. So for that particular period of time, it could have been, 6 months, it could be 8 months, it could be a year, it could have been 4 years, it could have been, several decades. And so as you can see, that feeling of dejection and despondency, to lose hope, to lose spirit, to lose courage, which is courage is having, motivation even in the face of fear. How important it is to have things like a recovery journal, and what I'm going to call emotements. I really love that term, emotements, where you schedule in times of emotion for you to encourage and reignite and generate from yourself, generate in the very same way a sun generates light, generate an ambiance or energy the same way a light bulb generates energy, the same way a fire generates heat. In finding that space of generation within you to generate these feelings on emotements, generate feelings of courage, generate feelings of bravery, generate feelings of inspiration, generate feelings of hope. generate feelings of bliss, generate feelings of freedom, generate feelings of safety, generate feelings of I am, and generate feelings of strength, and generate feelings of promise and commitment and hope within yourself and for yourself. So it's like, forward, forward, front, center, and back. So you're surrounded by this energy field, which is an energy field, which you belong in. You belong here. You belong in this field, but you need to be validated in this space. You need to be validated here. You need to be reignited. You need to, bring the lighter. You need to find the wick. You need to ignite the flame. The wick that has been there, which is a brand new wick, basically, after you've been in a relationship with a malignant narcissist or a psychopath, and we're just going long here for a quick moment. But that little wick is there. It was not validated, acknowledged, embraced, nurtured, given truth. It was not given the lighter. It was temporarily away from the flame. If you've been around the lies, the pathology, and the delusion and that illusion, you never got a chance to kind of get that flame there and have it, validated and give it the air and space it needs to grow and then burn stronger, deeper, brighter. You were not given that chance, or you had experienced despondency, basically the Latin, to give up or lose heart, resign, to promise in marriage and literally give up one's soul. I mean, this is the, seriousness. And so if that is your space, realize that that is a result of that relationship. But I can assure you that that wick is there, as the very fact that you have eyes, ears, and heart right now. If you put your hand on your heart, it's beating. If you can take your pulse, it's beating. You have a heart. So we're going to reignite that and then use emotments. I think I like that term, emotments, for you to schedule in your calendar. And I want you to be able to highlight these in, and you show up. So for example, you are going to highlight these in. You are going to get highlighters. You are going to get several highlighters. And I'm just going to go long here. Am I not? These are the tools that I want you to get. Excuse me for turning away. But you need to get some highlighters. And I'm just going to go for a little long here. Highlighters. Did I drop one? Excuse me. You're going to get some highlighters. You get these at the office supply store or Amazon. Sharpies. A highlighter. And you're going to be getting yourself, these are going to help color code your emotments, which is emotion plus appointment emotments. I'm going to trademark that as a specific type of time you spend with yourself. You're going to get yourself a day minder. They have these available on Amazon. Internationally, they have these at office supply stores. And I'm just going to, I use this as an example book, much as you should be able to schedule in your appointments. But let's say you're going along in your future. Let's just say you're later on in the year, in October, November. It is 2017. You then schedule in your emotments. And I have a pen. And if you have experienced despondency, you have basically experienced this, state of losing soul, losing heart, losing hope. You have been crestfallen. Your heart has gone to the ground because of this invalidation and devaluation. So that is just, those messages are just embodied in that individual. It has nothing to do with reality. It has everything to do with the shortcomings of a narcissist or a psychopath who is not exercised in empathy. They just don't have that as an ability to mirror back your emotions, your feelings. They just don't have it. In the state of the psychopath, it is all in intellectual empathy, so they can have, the presence of giving empathy. Oh, really? Oh, that's and then, taking, what I'm saying. They have an intellectual, we've discussed this on our channel. So it can really make you feel hopeless or helpless or terrified. So your moments. So, you need to have moments, which is a scheduling of time in your calendar where you're scheduling in these new emotions that you truly need to experience. So, for example, if you feel like you no longer experience hope, then you need to have a moment of hope. You need to have a moment of courage. So you are going to schedule in from 9 to 10. You can start with 1 hour blocks, or you can start with 2 hour blocks. But you need to generate this feeling and understand the root word of it. I want you to study the emotion. I want you to study what it looks like, feels like, smells like, tastes like, sounds like, all your senses. I want you to understand and have written out for yourself on all 5 senses as well as your 6th sense, what does hope look, feel, sound like, smell like, taste like? And I want you to write that down, and I want you to experience that for at least 1 hour. So a moment. Be courage. Or be hope. And we would say maybe from 1 to 2. Be hope. And then assign it with a sticker. We're going long today. You might get a smiley face sticker. You might get, you need to have an emoji. You need to have a symbol that you draw in and fill in. So a hope for you might be a smiley face. So you might need to draw a smiley face and maybe a shooting star. And you are then going to fill in a personal emoji like that. And then you are going to take a highlighter that you feel corresponds with that color. And you are going to black in your emotion. And you're going to do this in your recovery appointment book. I'm going to get another name for this book because it's a very special book for you. And so you are going to black in, you're going to fill in that be hope. And you're going to block it in. Fill it in, square it in. If it's, whatever it is, be hope. I am hope. You're going to use your astramations, and you're going to I am hopeful. I am strong. I am hopeful. I am optimism. There's going to be a number of astramations that focus you on, and then this is going to lead to other things, and which is going to lead to your creativity, your passion, your profession. And you're going to go out and experience this, but I want you to understand how you block it in, and I want you to experience that emotion. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're at the dentist. I don't care if you're brushing your teeth. I don't care if you're making your lunch. I don't care if you're at your work job. I want you to experience that emotion in all its form for an hour. If you need to start with half an hour, you're starting with half an hour. If you need to start with 5 minutes, you start with 5 minutes. But I want you to build it up to an hour. And then once you complete it, okay, I want you to then get a sticker and, give yourself a high five, an emoji. And then you're gonna fill it in. You're going to take that out. And you're doing this for yourself. If you feel like a child, excellent. You are in the right place. Hallelujah. High Cyber 5. You are in the right place. If you feel crazy, silly, stupid, self-loving, okay. If you feel hopeful, okay, guess what? You might have never experienced this with anybody. Well, it's time to generate it now. I've got, I did it. I actually felt it, did it. And you give yourself a smiley face once you got there and you do it. And I want you to fill up a whole book that is looking like this. And we're going to go into more in depth. And I'm going to be putting together some group workshops because I've received a lot of requests for this. But I want to help you and get this. I'm formalizing this, and I'm getting this into a book, and I'm developing, I'm in the process of developing some trademark kind of like names and situations for this. So like, emotement. And I want you to write in, my emotement, and then you can make comments in the side field. My emotements. For this week. My emotements. And then you're going on these. These tie in with your recovery date, your recovery gift, your recovery journal, all the sections in there. But I want you to schedule these in, and as you consciously schedule them in, they'll become automatic. Once you do this for several months, you'll automatically begin to generate these new feelings. And guess what happens when you have new feelings? You have new choices, new behaviors. You end up at a completely different outcome in your life than if you had not scheduled these and followed up with these. And then furthermore, you've got these internalized. They're no longer caught up in these other people, event, situations that had plagued you in the past and made you ever feel this lower vibration of despondency and being crestfallen. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.